Welcome folks, Technivorous here. This is Cura. Now Cura is a 3D object slicing application. It's used in conjunction with your 3D printer to make almost anything. But how does it work? Stick around and find out. We'll go over each setting one by one, each in 5 minutes or less, and be sure to bookmark this playlist and hit that subscribe button. Please feel free to share, it helps us out a ton. And now without further ado, today on Cura settings in 5 minutes or less, 2021 edition. Technivorous channel is brought to you by these fine Patreon supporters. Check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/technivorous.
Alright folks, Technivorous here. Today we are back in Cura and we are talking about shell settings. And the shell setting we're going to go over today is the seam positioning setting. This has a major effect on the outcome of the look of your model, and it's pretty simple to understand when put in simple terms. So basically what the seam is the point on the model where it starts and ends each vertical layer. So as it moves upwards, it's going to have to start a whole new layer. That spot is going to be the position of the seam, and right now I have it placed on random, so it will move those all around. And if I go to another layer here, you can see it's starting in this position on layer 36. If I go to layer 49, go back to the beginning, you can see that it's starting at this position. Now what that does is randomizes the seam placement. If I place them all in the same position, say on the outside of the model here, it will create an outer line or some zits or blobbing there. You will be able to tell there's a seam there. So that's not optimal. Right now it's starting the seams themselves inside the actual model, which could be a good thing. It could help prevent showing on the outside of the seam, but there are some other options, such as using the sharpest corner, which works really well. If I slice this again, you'll see that each layer is going to start in the same corner, and it's going to use a sharp angle like this to hide the seam. So you'll get a slight difference in this corner versus these other three edges, but it won't be a noticeable line running through the middle of your geometry or destroying your model. So if I go to another layer here, you can see that it is starting in the sharpest corner of each layer, which means for the most part throughout the model it's going to start in the same spot right here, but there are a couple places in the model where, say right here, where there is a sharper corner for it to start at, and in this case it'll start over here. So that will prevent, like I said, artifacts in the outer shell walls of your model, but with it moving back and forth you're going to get an uneven edge on this edge. So basically you'll have a seam here, and then you'll have a little seam here, and then wherever it goes to next. So let's check out one of the other options and see how that works out. So if I turn off smart hiding, we want to leave that on. Let's go to user specified. Okay, so Z seam position. This is going to allow me to position exactly where I want the seam to be. So if I slice it like this, it's going to set the Z seam X and Y both to 220, which means it should start in that corner every time. And that's what we're getting. So in this case, this is the setting that I would use because I'm making a cube and I want not only all the edges to be uniform, but at least this edge here to be uniform with itself, so it's easier to adjust to fit the others. If I need to post-process, do a little sanding, it all comes off of one spot here, right where this seam is. And in most cases, as long as the seam is on that sharpest corner and in one vertical line, not broken up randomly throughout the model, you don't really need to post-process it because you won't really see it unless you're specifically looking for it. That's going to be it about the seam. If you're getting weird line artifacts vertically through your model, or you're getting random blobs and zits all over through your model, it's probably the seam settings, and that's what I would look at first.
Well, that's it guys, that's going to wrap up this video. If you've noticed the shirt, the merch is available. Go ahead and check out the Teespring merch link down below. It won't be available on a channel store until I reach 10,000 subscribers, and so far I am just about to hit 5,000. So it'll be a little while, a couple more months before you see this on the actual channel, but they are available now. I have a couple other designs. Feel free to pop over there and check them out, and know that any purchase through the Teespring site definitely helps to promote our site here and increase the channel's ability to make videos in the future. So we appreciate all your support. Don't forget to check out the Teespring link, check out our Patreon link, leave a like on this video, and hit that subscribe button because we have a lot more coming at you in the coming days.